Hello everyone. Today I will talk on dynamic stability of complex system. So in 1972, Robert May asked, "Will a large complex system be stable?" And to answer his question, he mapped a ecological network into the random ensemble network, where off-diagonal entries are drawn from a normal distribution with probability C, and the diagonal entries are set at a constant value -C. And this random ensemble network will be stable if they follow this relation where S is the system size. So here we can see that when S is very large, then system will be no longer stay stable. So this result was in contradiction with the ecologist. So since then the diversity stability paradox originated. So to solve this paradox, uh, this further this Alisana group considered the topological symmetries by taking the mechanism of predator-prey type of interaction and the mutualistic type of interactions. So under these mechanisms also the results are consistent with the Robert May's results. And further, people thought that the connections are not random, but they follow the power law distribution. So underlying this heterogeneous topology also, the results are consistent with the May's results. So in all these cases, we can see that when system size is very large, then system will be no longer stay stable. Now, question is that what are the roots of dynamical stability of complex system? Because of complex system. So to find the roots of the system, we have to seek the system's linear stability matrix, which we generally call as a Jacobian matrices. And the principal eigenvalue of this Jacobian matrix determine the response of the perturbations. For example, when perturbation grow exponentially, then the principal eigenvalue of the Jacobian matrix will be positive and system will lead towards the instability. When the perturbation dies out, then the system will then the principal eigenvalue will be negative and system will leads toward the stability. But the question is that given the diversity scale and parameter which characterize this complex dynamical system, how we can find out the Jacobian matrices. So we can think that in the mathematical way that the Jacobian matrix can be found out using this framework, where A is the network structure and W determine the edges weight. For example, WII is the self-linear dependence weight and WIJ is the linear dependence weight between two node I and J. So the first term determines the off diagonal weight and the second term determines the diagonal weights. So when we consider the Robert May's Jacobian matrices, then in the asymptotic limit, the principal eigenvalue will be this. And here we can see that when the system size is larger than this C parameter, then system will be unstable. When we consider the heterogeneous topology and the diagonal and off diagonal weights are drawn from two different distributions, then the resulted Jacobian ensemble follow this scaling relation for the principal eigenvalue. And here we can see that this 1 by 2 term is replaced by beta by 2 term. And again, we can see that when this term is larger than this C parameter, then system will be unstable. So here we can see in both of the cases, we can see that when we draw, when we consider the topology and the weight independently, then we can get the similar type of Jacobian matrices. And this is contrary with our real observations, because when two different dynamics we consider in the same network structure, then they can fundamentally show different behavior. So now question is that how we can construct a Jacobian matrix which can intertwine with the topology and the dynamics. For that, we have considered this dynamical framework where M node captures the self dynamics of all node and the product of M1 and M2 capture the interaction mechanisms interaction mechanism, pairwise interaction mechanisms between two nodes. So this set of combination of these three functions, we can model any biological, social, or power grid network. And using these three functions, we analytically find out the dynamic exponent omega, which is a combination of this Nita-Munro parameter. And we have also incorporated the tunable parameter F and G. So this F is a node and link specific. For example, in the SIS dynamics, this is corresponding to the infection or recovery rate. And G is the global parameter which capture the effect of the external condition. And AIJ is the network structure, and GIJ is the strength of the edges. So using this network information, we can find out the probability distribution and average nearest neighbor degree and the heterogeneity of the network. So using this uh, parameter omega and non-intrinsic parameters C, and this information, we can analytically constructed the Jacobian matrices, where we can see that our Jacobian matrices are not random, but they are strongly intertwined with the topology through this weighted degree dij and on average nearest neighbor degree, and on the dynamics through this Nita-Munro parameter. So we have seen that this Nita-Munro parameter is completely dependent on these interaction mechanisms, and this weighted degree and average nearest neighbor degree depend on the network structure. And in the asymptotic limit, the principal eigenvalue of our Jacobian matrix will follow this relation, where this Q and S parameter depend on the network structure through this beta parameter, and on the topology through this mu eta parameter. And this S will be 1 if there is a mutualistic type of interaction, and it will be 0 if there is an adversarial type of interactions. So this S is the important factor in order to determine the stability of the system. So this we call as a stability classifier. So when S is less than 0, then this term will be dominated, and as a result, principal eigenvalue will be negative. And no matter what are the internal or external parameters, system will asymptotically follow the uh, stability condition. And when S is 0, then the stability of our system will sensitively depend on this intrinsic parameter C. And when S is greater than 0, then the first term will be dominated and the system will be asymptotically unstable. So here we can see that Robert May's results was right, but they falls in our instability classes. So to test our theory, we have taken the set of combination of real and model networks and different set of dynamics. For instance, epidemic dynamics. To model the epidemic dynamics, we have considered the SIS dynamics, and for the subcellular dynamics, we have considered this Michael-Shen model. And for population dynamics, we have considered under the mutualistic type of interaction, and inhibited dynamics is the separation dynamics, which we generally observe in the interaction between the host and pathogen. And biochemical dynamics is corresponding to the protein-protein interaction network, which are modeled by the mass kinetics model. And we have also taken the extended dynamics, where we have taken the diffusive type of coupling between the power station and population 2 dynamics under the mutualistic interaction, but with additive coupling. So depending on the type of interaction, the system can show active or inactive state. So we are interested in the active state. So corresponding to this active state, we have calculated the dynamic exponent omega and this stability classifier S. And we have taken 3 set of model networks and empirical networks corresponding to the dynamics. And here we have observed the patterns, emergent patterns in the dynamic ensembles. So here we can see that the scaling patterns between the Jacobian weights and weighted degree are different for different set of dynamics underlying the same network structure. And this can be true because this is true because these scaling patterns depend on this mu neuro rho parameter, and they are dependent on the dynamic mechanism. So here we can see that all scaling patterns between the Jacobian weights and weighted degree are fundamentally distinct from each other. And our theory is which are depicted in the orange line are consistent with the our numerical results, which are depicted in the blue colors. So to check the robustness of our theory, we have taken the 7,500 Jacobian ensemble. And here you can clearly see that in this for this red dot points, the stability classifier S and the principal eigenvalue both are positive, and that's why this class is these red dot points is corresponding to the asymptotically unstable classes, and the blue dot points are corresponding to the stability classes because they are both lambda and stability classifier both are the negative, and these green dot points are corresponding to the sensitively stability classes. And our theory is not in good prediction for 8% cases over entire ensemble Jacobian matrices. So in conclusion, I can say that using the information of topology and interaction mechanisms, we can analytically find out this Jacobian, these dynamic determinants. And by knowing the information of the network structure and the topology, we can directly predict the stability of the complex system. So I would like to thank my collaborators and Barjal Lab at Bar-Ilan University for providing me the computing facility, and for the financial support I would like to thank DST Inspire India and Israel government, and I would like to thank you everyone for the listening, and for reference you can visit you can see this paper, and if you have any question or comments, then you can drop the mail on this email address. Thank you very much.